Quickly! Get out of the city now! Run for your lives! Do not stop! Keep moving! Run! Go now! Do not look back! Run! Don't look back!
The eternal Word, a light unto the ages, now revealed.
I want to show y'all something. So I'm sitting here reading Genesis 19. There's this one sentence in this story that I just can't seem to get past. So the angels have came to Lot, and basically the message is, you need to get out of here. That sounds simple, right? The angels then say, God is warning you. Danger is coming. You have been given a chance to leave. So leave. I don't get it. But the Bible says Lot, he stayed there. He lingered. Wait a second. You know something is wrong. You've been warned. The door is open and you're still standing there. You see, some of y'all already know where I'm about to go with this, because sometimes the hardest thing God will tell you to do is not to fight. It's to leave. Leave the relationship. Leave the environment. Leave the people who keep pulling you backwards. Leave something you've gotten so comfortable with, even though deep down, you know it's no longer good for you. And that's hard. I get it. Because we don't just get attached to people. We get attached to places, memories, routines, the life we built. And sometimes we will stay in something that is destroying us simply because starting over scares us more than staying there. But here is what makes this story even crazier. Lot didn't know how much time he had, and neither did anybody else in the city. People were probably making plans for tomorrow, probably gonna go get wedding, marriages and all this stuff. Somebody was preparing for the next morning. Somebody was thinking about what they were gonna buy. Somebody was probably saying, I'll deal with that later. Nobody was looking at the sky thinking, this is our last night. And that's why this warning matters, because the warning normally comes before everything looks like an emergency. By the time everybody can see the danger, sometimes it's already too late. Boy. Now, here's where our story begins. Before the fire, before anybody started running, before Lot was told to leave anything behind, two men walked toward the gates of Sodom as the sun was going down. Lot saw them, and almost immediately he started begging them. He said, do not spend the night in these streets. You see, why would he say that? What did Lot know about the city called home? That these two strangers who weren't from here, they were about to find out. Because this was not just another night in Sodom. This was the last night. And it all started with two strangers walking through the city gate.
Evening had fallen over Sodom, and as the sun disappeared, two men walked toward the city gates. They looked like ordinary travelers, but they were not ordinary men. They were angels. Lot was sitting near the gate when he saw them approaching. The moment he noticed them, he stood up, walked toward them, bowed. Then he made a strange request. "Please, come to my house, wash your feet, stay the night, and leave early in the morning." But the men refused. They told Lot they would spend the night in the city square. Lot would not accept that. He kept urging them, almost as if he knew something they didn't. Finally, the two men followed Lot home. He prepared a meal for them, baked unleavened bread, and for a moment, everything inside the house seemed peaceful. But outside, Sodom was waking up. Before the visitors could even settle in for the night, voices began gathering outside Lot's door. Men from across the city were surrounding the house. Young men, old men, the crowd kept growing. Then someone shouted for Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight?" Lot stepped toward the door, and what they said next revealed exactly why he had begged those strangers not to sleep in the street. The crowd demanded that Lot bring the men outside to them. Lot closed the door behind himself and tried to reason with them. "Please, my brothers, don't do this wicked thing." But they were not interested in listening. They pushed closer. Their voices became louder. And now they were threatening Lot too. The same man who had lived among them was suddenly standing between an angry city and two strangers inside his house. Then the crowd rushed the door.
Lot! Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out! We saw them come in, and we want to sleep with them! Open the door or we will burst it down! Please, my brothers, move! Don't do this wicked thing. Move! Get out of the way! You think you can judge us? Bring them out! Move out the way! I want the one with the long hair! Break the door! Please! Stop this wickedness! Move! Bring them out!
But before they could break through, the two visitors reached out, grabbed Lot, pulled him back inside, and shut the door. Then something happened that made it clear these men had never needed Lot's protection in the first place. The angels struck the men outside with blindness. And even blind, the crowd kept trying to find the door. That was how far Sodom had fallen. And now Lot was about to learn why these two angels had really come. The men outside were still stumbling through the darkness, trying to find Lot's door. But inside the house, everything had changed. The two visitors finally told Lot why they had come. Sodom was about to be destroyed. The outcry against the city had become so great that judgment was coming. And Lot was told to get his family out, his sons, his daughters, anyone connected to him. If they wanted to live, they had to leave Sodom. So Lot ran into the night. He found the men who were going to marry his daughters and gave them the warning. "Get up, get out of this place. The Lord is about to destroy the city." But they looked at Lot and laughed. They thought he was joking. Think about that. An entire city was standing on the edge of destruction. And the people Lot tried to save thought the warning was funny. Nothing outside looked different yet. The buildings were still standing. The streets were still there. The sun had not risen. And because judgment had not happened yet, they assumed it never would. So they stayed. But back inside Lot's house, the angels were no longer talking like men planning for tomorrow. They were talking like time was running out. Night was almost over. Morning was coming. And before the sun rose over Sodom, Lot would have to decide whether he really believed the warning he had just given everybody else.
The street still looks the same tonight. The houses standing in the light. They laughed and said, "We've heard it all before." But mercy's standing at the door. You keep saying there is still more time. time. Still one more night to change your mind. But every warning has an end, and you may not hear that voice again. Morning is coming. Don't wait too long. When God says move, you better be gone. Everything's quiet, but that don't mean you're safe. Sometimes mercy is the warning before it's too late. So when the door opens and God makes a way, don't fall in love with something He's telling you to leave today. Morning is coming, 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 coming. Morning is coming.
Man, morning is coming. You see, this is the part of the story that gets me, because Lot just ran out and warned his sons and his son-in-laws, future son-in-laws. He told them, get out of here. God is about to destroy this place. What do? They laugh. Why? Because Sodom was still standing. There was no fire falling from heaven. There was no smoke in the sky. Nothing around them looked like Lot's warning was true. And that's dangerous. Where did we see this at? We saw this with the story of Noah. You see, a lot of people don't realize that God gave Sodom and Gomorrah a chance. He gave them a warning. He literally, you remember Abraham in chapter 18, he pleads with God. He said, God, if you find 50, 40, 30, 10 righteous, will you spare the city? He said, yes. And here we have Lot giving a warning to people, and they laughed. Just like Noah gave a warning to the world and they laughed. You see, sometimes we think that because nothing has happened yet, nothing is going to happen at all. You keep doing the same old thing. You keep going back to the same situation. Keep ignoring the same warning. And because you woke up this morning and everything still looks normal, you start thinking, man, see, I'm good. No. Sometimes the fact that you still have time is not proof that everything is okay. Sometimes that is mercy giving you another chance to move. And here's what really gets me. The people who laughed at Lot are not the only people in this story having trouble leaving Sodom. You see, Lot is about to have trouble leaving too. Now, hold on. You just warned everybody else, Lot. You believe judgment is coming enough to run to the city and tell other folks to get out. But when it's time for you to leave, the Bible says Lot lingered. Man, that will preach all by itself. Because it is one thing to know something is bad for you, but it's another thing to actually walk away from it. Ooh. You see, some of us have stayed in places we prayed for God to deliver us from. God opened the door and we stood right there looking back in the room. Because leaving means leaving what is familiar. Lot had a life in Sodom. That was his life. He had a home in Sodom. Everything he owned was in Sodom. His family had relationships in Sodom. This was not some city he visited for the weekend. This was his home. And now God was telling him, you can't take this life with you. Somebody watching this knows exactly what that feels like. You know God is pulling you forward, but part of you is still emotionally tied to what's behind you. And listen to me, please. Not everything you are comfortable with is supposed to go where God is taking you. Sometimes mercy looks like God saying, leave it. And when Lot couldn't make himself move fast enough, look at what God do. The angels grab him. They grab his wife. They grab his daughters. And the Bible says they brought them out because the Lord was merciful to him. God made a promise to Abraham. I'm going to spare Lot. You see, sometimes mercy don't feel gentle. Sometimes mercy have to pull you out of something you keep trying to stay in. But now they are outside the city. Morning is breaking, and the command is very clear. Run for your life. Do not stop anywhere in the valley. And whatever you do, don't look back. Because behind them is everything they know. And ahead of them is somewhere they've never been. And before this morning is over, one person in Lot's family is going to discover why God told them not to turn around.
Morning was beginning to break. The angels looked at Lot and told him there was no more time. Get up, take your wife and your daughters, and leave this place. But Lot hesitated. After everything he had seen, after everything he had been told, he still lingered. So the angels grabbed Lot by the hand. They grabbed his wife, they grabbed his daughters, and they physically pulled them out of Sodom. The Bible says they did it because the Lord was merciful to him. Once they were outside the city, the command became even stronger. Run for your life. Do not stop anywhere in the valley, and do not look back. Lot looked toward the mountains. He was terrified. He begged the angels not to send him there, afraid disaster would overtake him before he could reach safety. Then Lot pointed toward a small nearby city, Zoar. Please let me escape there, the angel agreed. But there was one condition. Lot had to move now. Lot, his wife, and his daughters started running. Behind them was their house, their possessions, their memories, everything they had built in Sodom. Ahead of them was nothing familiar, and every step took them farther away from the life they knew. The sun began rising over the valley. Lot finally reached Zoar. For one brief moment, everything was quiet. Sodom was still standing behind them. The streets were still there. The buildings were still there. To anyone looking from a distance, it probably seemed like another ordinary morning. But the warning had been given. Lot was out. And now there was only one command left for his family to obey. Whatever happens behind you, don't look back. The sun had risen. Lot had reached Zoar, and behind him, Sodom was still standing. Then everything changed. Fire and sulfur began falling from the sky. The cities of the plain were overwhelmed. Buildings disappeared beneath the destruction. The ground burned. Smoke rose over the valley, and the place Lot had called home was gone. But while Lot and his daughters kept moving forward, his wife stopped. She looked back. Maybe it was the house, maybe the memories, maybe the life she was leaving behind. The Bible does not tell us what was in her heart. It only tells us what she did. She looked back, and in that moment she became a pillar of salt. The warning had been simple. Run. Do not stop. Do not look back. But she turned around anyway. Later that morning, Abraham looked toward Sodom from a distance, and all he could see was smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. The city that had been alive the night before was gone. The people who laughed at the warning were gone. Lot had escaped. But even inside the family that was rescued, not everybody made it out. God had opened a way of escape. The only question was whether they were willing to leave everything behind.
I want you to think about that. The night before, Sodom was still standing. People were laughing. People were making plans. I mean, life looked normal. And by the morning, the whole entire city was gone. But here's what I don't want you to miss. Lot didn't escape because he was faster than everybody else. He escaped because God showed him mercy. The Bible says Lot lingered. God told him to leave, and this man was still hesitating. So the angels literally had to grab him. They had to grab his wife. They had to grab his family, and they had to pull him out. Y'all, that's mercy. And some of you watching this right now can look back over your life and say, man, God had to pull me out of some situations. Oh my goodness. You knew you should have left. You knew you should have walked away. You saw all the signs, but you kept hanging around. Well, I'm hanging around for the kids. I'm hanging around for this. I'm hanging around for that. And somehow God didn't let that thing destroy you. Somebody need to give God a praise. That was mercy. But mercy don't mean we get to ignore the warning forever. You see, eventually Lot had to move. Eventually he had to leave. And eventually there came a moment when God said, don't look back. Now, the Bible don't tell us everything that was going on through Lot's wife's mind when she turned around. I don't know why she turned around. Maybe she turned around because of the noise. Maybe she felt the heat on the back of her neck. But when God tell you don't do something, don't do it. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit here and make something up. But what we do know, God told her not to look back, and she did. Jesus would later say these three simple words: remember Lot's wife. Ooh, that is heavy. Because sometimes God is trying to take you somewhere new, but you are still staring at what he told you to leave behind. You keep looking back at the relationship. Why? You keep going back to that environment, going back to the bad habits. I know about it. Going back to the version of yourself that God has been trying to deliver you from. And listen to me, please. Just because you missed something don't mean you're supposed to return to it. Some things feel familiar because you lived there for so long and just for a long time. That don't mean they're safe. Lot's wife had made Sodom pretty much, listen, Lot's wife had made it out of Sodom physically, but then she looked back. And that ought to make us all ask ourselves a question. What am I still looking back at? What has God already told me to leave alone? What warning have I been laughing at because nothing has happened to me bad yet? What am I calling normal simply because I have gotten used to it? Because Sodom teaches us something. If we're going to be honest, everything can look normal right up until the moment it's not. That is why when God gives you a warning, you do not wait until everybody else understands it. You don't wait until the fire starts falling. You don't wait until the situation gets so bad that leaving is your only option. When God opens the door, step through it and move. And when he brings you out, keep moving. You can't walk into what's next while spending your whole life staring at what is behind you. That ain't gonna work. Lot lost his home. He lost everything. He lost the people who he knew, even his wife. But he was alive because when mercy grabbed his hand, eventually he moved. So maybe this story is not here just to tell you what happened to Sodom. Maybe it's here to ask you, what is God telling you to walk away from before it costs you more than what you ever wanted to lose? Now, if this story spoke to you, hit that like button. Share this video with somebody who needs to hear this. And make sure you subscribe to the Bible Told with Pastor Rod, where I bring the Bible to life like you were actually there. And remember, when the world is still trying to figure things out, the Bible told it first.